Hey guys, this is John, and I'm playing DRK, and I am in the 5-minute pool. Who is DRK? We're going to find out in a second. Danny Kopec. Aha. Founder of the Kopec System. So, Kopec is not an active IM, but he has a pretty major system attached to his name. As far as I'm concerned, that means you're accomplished in the chess world. Because that's hard to do. People don't really get openings named after them. Now it's usually like side variations of a side variation. So knight fd2. I think I should just play bishop f5 against that. I could withdraw my knight, but it seems a little fancy. Yeah, let's go bishop f5. Anticipate a trade. He'll probably play knight d2. Yep, let's bring this guy back here. I always feel this pawn structure is nice for black. Something similar can happen in the London system too. Usually black's best bet is to run this pawn ASAP, so I'll do that. Is he going to go for e4? He might do that. It's probably a good decision. Before I get too comfortable in this setup. B4, he just takes twice on d5. That's no good, right? I don't think. I can play rook d8. Is rook d8 really what you want here? Probably not. Taking on e4 seems kind of bland and strategically poor. So I don't like that necessarily. E5? E5. Nah, E5's garbage. E5 would be okay if he had to take with the pawn. He can take with the bishop, though. I do not like my position very much. I have a semi-crazy idea, though. Just checking to see if it works at all. All right, this is going to be weird, but let's do it. I think I need something to shake the position up because already it's not looking that great for me. E4 came really fast. I'm now regretting my decision. Okay, against this one I was going to take here. I thought for him the critical move would be bishop takes e5 in that last position. And I was going to trade and then play d4. And then when he took with the c-pawn, I was going to play bishop b4 with the intention of going c3. I think he missed knight takes d4. Now I feel okay with my position. Because I think he has to take on d4 and I'll take f4. I'm completely fine with this turn of events. Yeah, then I'll have two double isolated pawns in the center. I'll have a queenside majority, 3 versus his 2. Wow, he's going to sack the exchange instead. It's a gutsy decision. Oh, actually,
Check.
though, he's not going to get the exchange because I have this move.
Check.
Ouchtown, to borrow one of Danny Wrench's phrases. Then he can't play rook takes a1. This is a funny game. Okay, I'll take here. I'll go king d7. That looks safe enough. Just stop bishop c6. Yeah, I think this is basically over. Unless he comes up with something really good here. My next move will be bishop takes d6. I don't think I need to touch my knight, bishop, or rook. This one I can just take. Simple. Just take here. Yeah, and he resigned. Well, I think I won the game because I played e5 on move 14. But really, that shouldn't have won the game. Okay, I'll go all the way back. You don't see this system too often, bishop g5. Like, the times that I see bishop g5 compared to bishop f4 are so few and far between. The bishop f4 is just way more popular. London system. So, bishop g5. I played knight e4. It's an interesting move. And I think it's justified. I could just play like bishop f5 in this position and just try to develop normally. But c5 is a critical test of this. Most lines, most d4 system lines where white's developing the dark square bishop early, the important test is if black plays c5 and gets the queen to b6 and hits b2. Asking white, like, you know, are you really in this? Are you really planning on getting a good position if I'm able to attack b2? And sometimes white will sack that pawn. But most of the time they play like white did in this game. They'll play queen b3 or queen c2. I just mentioned I really like this pawn structure. I played with this structure a lot, and often you get to go b5, b4, and you've got the built-in advantage of the rook being on the open file. There's an analogous line. I'll go all the way back just to illustrate this. So in the London, let's say I had gone knight f6, bishop f4, c5. Let's say e3, knight c6, c3, queen b6, queen b3. So this is an analogous line. c4, same idea. You're trying to induce white to trade so you can push the b pawn. And it's known that trading is very comfortable for black. Hence, most players play queen c2 in this position. Now this is a little bit different from what happened in our game, because here black can play bishop f5. This is a nice move. And if he takes it, his queen is just deflected from b2. This is no good for him. So after bishop f5, usually white will play queen c1, and then black plays e6, and I think these positions are roughly equal. But the game was played by analogy to this. Oh yeah, by the way, funny thing. Let's say they played like... Let's say black played... How am I going to set this up? You have to be careful when you play bishop f5 in these lines. Let's say the game had gone like... I don't know if I can even set it up. But there's been a situation before where I've played bishop f5 like way too early. Let's say... how am I going to do this? c5, c3, queen b6... say queen b3, here, here. Okay, so like this position. Now, bishop f5 would be horrible here. Do not play that before you develop your knight, because white can just take, and when I cleverly take on b2, you get mated.
Checkmate.
This happened to me one time. I think this exact position. Not in a tournament game, but in a Blitz game or something. So you have to play knight c6 first, always, if you're going to make that bishop f5 idea work. So, kind of a tangent there. But getting to the game, we go forward a little bit. So when we do the trade on b6, I'm liking my position. I just think after knight fd2, maybe I should have withdrawn this knight. Maybe knight f6 was called for. Because he has superfluous knights. These knights are jockeying for the same squares. This knight could develop through a3, I suppose, but if he does that, I play bishop f5, and I'm even denying him that square. I guess he could go to b5, but actually the knight is not particularly useful on b5 right now. Maybe. I mean, he might be able to play a4. It's debatable. But I think I should have withdrawn that knight. Just see what the engine says. Knight d6, knight f6, yeah. Maybe doing this is too kind to him. Then he gets to develop without any issue. Already the computer's suggesting e4, this pawn break for him. And given what happened, I probably shouldn't... Well, I kind of need b5, though, because I have to reinforce c4. If e4 is going to come, c4 will be destabilized. So I sort of need that pawn on the b5 square defending it. e4... Okay. And the computer says I should just put my tail in between my legs and play knight e7 and defend it. Likewise, I was considering rook d8. Nah. Knight e7, it really thinks black's okay here, huh? This does not appeal to me. I suppose the plan would be to take and then post the knight on d5. But I have to believe that white's development advantage is worth something here. So I came up with this idea. Yeah, and he responded quickly. He spent like only 6 seconds on this next move. So my idea is that if he takes with the D pawn, I'll play D4. And this position seems less clear to me because even though he's up a pawn, it's doubled. His bishops are impeded. I have this pawn roller on the queen side. Maybe to the computer it's obvious, but I think a human would be somewhat concerned here as white at a glance. So what I was looking at was this, and now D4 again. And then if he takes, so I'm sacrificing 2 pawns, but I get to go here. And because I'm threatening C3, I thought I had decent play. One line I was looking at was this, C3, take, rook C1, and then take here. And I think black is doing all right. Still edge to white, but he's got weak pawns. So do I, but... So that was my optimistic pawn move e5, but given that, you know, I was clearly taken aback by this turn of events, I wanted to play like what Alex Yermolinsky, Grandmaster Yermolinsky, would call a trend-breaking move. He talks about this in his excellent book called Road to Chess Improvement. He talks about when the tide of a game is not going in your favor, you should look for something to break the trend. So a trend-breaking move. And e5 is exactly that. And he didn't respond to it correctly. This is definitely a bad move because of knight takes d4. I think he was only considering this line, which is fantastic for white because I can't take because he forks my king and rook. But yeah, he didn't see knight takes d4. Now I think he has to take and just kind of admit that he's worse here. It's even material, but with me having the bishop pair and this structure being heavily compromised, he's a lot worse. But he did this, and he might have some compensation if I went for this. Like that, yeah, I could see where he would be able to claim some comp here. Because my pieces are not yet developed, I'm not fully coordinated. But he just missed this in between move, bishop d3. Forcing the king back, now his rook coordination has been destroyed. And I'm just winning. So, hope you guys enjoyed that game. And too bad we didn't get a Kopec system, huh? It'd be nice to play the inventor of the Kopec system. The Kopec system, by the way, which this guy Danny Kopec developed, is like this. And then I think it's bishop d3 right here. Is that right? It's kind of a ridiculous looking move, but the idea is to go c3 and then put the bishop on c2 and then later go for d4 if you're allowed. Kind of like a Roy Lopez against the Sicilian. I think this is the move order. It might be c3 first, and then bishop d3. Clearly, I've never played this system for white, so I'm not really an expert on it. But pretty cool that he has his name associated with that line. All right, hope you guys enjoyed that game, and please leave me any feedback in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.